The first time I heard a pre-war 78 played on the proper equipment totally changed how I thought about music. 78s were introduced around the turn of the century. They're sort of the earliest iteration of a record as we'd think of it today, and they are 10-inch shellac discs that spin at 78 revolutions per minute. In many cases, these records are incredibly rare, and they trade among collectors for sort of terrifying sums of money. I'm the author of Do Not Sell at Any Price, The Wild Obsessive Hunt for the World's Rarest 78 RPM Records, which is a nonfiction book about collectors of some of the rarest recordings in the world. I think the question of why someone collects, why someone would collect anything, for me was a sort of central question of the book. It was this sort of, why do this? Why, make all these sacrifices, both financial and personal, to pursue what are essentially just objects, right? As I kind of got deeper and deeper in the world, I was like, oh, I get it. I sort of began to understand just how valuable these objects are, the experience you have when you listen to a song that is so sort of deeply affecting that you can feel it changing you. It's a beautiful experience, and it's certainly an experience I've sought out, and I think many people have sought out, but it can be really disorienting, sort of how powerful it is. And I think collecting in a way, and in particular collecting records, is a way of sort of mediating that experience, almost of controlling it. And it took me a while to sort of understand what they were talking about when they talked about what sounded different to them from these early recordings. It sounds different to me. There's something that sounds sort of less mediated, more raw. It's a little closer. I think the performers that were singing these songs didn't really have a sense that they were creating an object that would endure in the way that we now think of a recording. Both the recordings themselves and then the ways in which we hear them now. I mean, they do sound like these sort of emanations from the past. I think there's some comfort in that, for me at least, hearing these records and thinking, God, these things that I feel, humans have been feeling these things in very similar ways for, at least a century, if not clearly millennia. I think I very much sort of came out of this project one of them, on the other side. I am a 78 collector. It's embarrassing to say it out loud, but it's true. It's very much true.